What's going on, YouTube? We have another Kevin Samuels video for you guys today. And without further ado, you guys go ahead, leave me a like, comment, subscribe, and I appreciate y'all.
A singular competitive woman doesn't. See, I kept asking her that question. If you're competitive, how does any of this stuff affect you? And she had to, I want to say what I've been programmed to say. It was like you can hear the gears turning, and it's like it does not compute. How does it affect a singular competitive woman? Yeah, but see, I gotta. How does it affect a singular competitive woman? It doesn't. Thank you. Even she was exasperated. It doesn't affect a singular competitive woman, and therein lies the rub. That's where we're going to start from. Are you competitive? See, the thing is, it always goes down to these brothers on the West Coast and these big cities. They marry out. They want the white girl. They want they'll kick it with you, but in order to move up the corporate ladder, you got to have that little miss thing on your arm. You know, we've heard that crap before, right? We've heard this crap before. This is what black men have been hearing for the longest. So we're going to go into it. We're going to go into it, and I'm going to be respectful of the topic, ladies. I got to ask a question to black women, in particular black women and black women only. Black women, are you truthfully, not you, how do I want to frame this? Are you an asset or a liability in corporate America? I mean, especially in corporate America, because, you know, this whole marrying out and white women thing, that only matters if you're the man that they want. If they don't want you, brothers, let's be honest. If you don't fries at McDonald's, they don't care if you got Becky. They only care if you got the bag or if you're going to get the bag. Let's be honest. That's why I put parameters out there so we can start having a real conversation. They only care if you have the kind of money or if you have the potential to make the kind of money that they never have to work again in their life, that they can have their 2 to 3 kids and have their suburban lifestyle. Then they start to care. And I got to ask you, are you an asset or a liability in corporate America? And you know how corporate America is framed. Meaning, are you willing, able to take a back seat to your husband's career? Are you willing to play the role? The soccer mom, baking the Girl Scout cookies, hosting the sleepovers at PTA meetings? Are you willing to do all that with a smile on your face? Is the average educated black woman an asset or a liability? That is what a lot of men are asking themselves. And it comes from an attitude standpoint. It's not as though you're not educated, intelligent. It's not as though all the things are on paper, but attitudinally. I've said it before. When I was around black men in corporate America, I was personally asked to not bring my spouse back to company functions because she was so difficult. And this is not an uncommon thing. I use that as an example to ask the question of any of the women that you've heard calling in, talking about they want, especially over the last week. Just listen to the attitude and say, is this how would the average guy think of this woman? The colorism show, any of these shows, because here's what it comes down to, ladies. You cannot like what men say. A lot of women don't like some of the things I say, but at the end of the day, unless you're planning on marrying a woman, it doesn't matter what you think. The consumer, the purchaser, the acquirer of the product that is a black woman is a black man. The end consumer of the product of women is men. And in the market, you got to go ask the consumer what they want. And that's one of the things that's been so missing in all these men are from Mars, women are from Venus. They've been asking women what they want for the longest. No one ever thought to ask men. Men are saying what they want now. And here's the question. Can you give it to them? First off, do you have it to give? Are you going to give it to them? And are you going to give it to them willingly? That's what it comes down to. So this is when things like that colorism thing came up, because when you have women who, women like these women who are not competitive for the kind of men they want, instead of just saying, I'm not competitive for the kind of man I want, and either doing what it takes to become competitive and give the kind of man that you want what he wants, you're trying to get him to change what he wants. You're trying to make him feel bad for wanting what he wants. You can either give him what he wants, or you can go to another store. That's where we're at. Next. Now, I understand a lot of sisters aren't going to like some of the things they're going to have to say. But as a black man who spent his entire career in corporate America, I heard this for 20 plus years. Black man get rid of his woman and get a white woman to move up. It was in Waiting to Exhale. It's been a popular trope in black America. But is it true? Damn it. I want you to hear some more of this colorism stuff. Again, it's, the reason we can't get, the high value men, the high value black men is because of our skin tone. Really? Is that it? But then when you ask, get them nailed down. If I lose my what if I lose them or drop them? But hey, you ask, when you get them nailed down, what happens? If woman, you get them nailed down to the point.
Hello.
Hi, remember Kevin. This crazy chick from last night? Oh yeah, I'm gonna use you.
Hello?
Hi,
Kevin. I called your show before. I know that you got pretty angry with me a couple of shows ago.
This is an uncompetitive woman.
But I wanted to speak about the colorism topic that Juliet.
This is an uncompetitive woman who was called into my show 5 or 6 times. She's disguised her voice. She did. But I know it's you. You've been on my show 4 times and you're only supposed to call in twice. Understand what I mean? This is an uncompetitive woman. She can't get she thinks she should be able to get a high value man, and she's average. She's average. And that's not an insult. We got to stop making average an insult. And thinking that she's going to call over and instead of booking her time with me to get her one-on-one consult, she doesn't want to do it the right way. Again, why am I using her as an avatar? Well, a high-value black man has to do a lot of stuff he doesn't want to do. He has to play the game. There is a right and a wrong way to do it. You cannot become high value and be antisocial. And I've said it before, we got too many antisocial leanings in our community, and we got so many of our women who want high value men, but they don't even want to do the minimum. I spoke to this woman at length. And instead of just taking the advice, she calls back to get some more stuff free and more stuff free. This is the woman that comes to the food court and tries to get full off of the individual chicken nuggets. This is the woman that goes to happy hour and tries to get full off the chips and salsa. This is the woman, and then when you call her out, she'll, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. And then this is the woman that will actually call up to the restaurant that's having happy hour, find out which manager is on duty, and go there on the days in which the manager that told her to leave ain't working. Dan is there on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay, I'll go up on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and eat free chips. That's this woman. She will force you to have to call her out, and then when you say something, and just triple down through life like like I just deserve a black man because I want him. But here's the thing: this is an uncompetitive woman because when she went out with a Hispanic man, he talked to her like, it's not just the black men. You can't get a man. And instead of doing what it takes to become competitive, you want to talk about colorism.
Get brought up. I think that colorism is an issue within the Black community. I think that, I understand like Black women, we have really deviated from being feminine and embracing what makes us a woman. And I get that. But I think, I think right now in this show, like, I don't know, I don't want to like put words in your mouth, but I think you might be downplaying colorism and its effects on Black.
I did a thought, understand. If you watched my show last night, I had people calling into my show saying thank you. But again, when you're a loser, uncompetitive, everything has to be a reason. And I'm going to use this to a greater spring point. Understand that you're downplaying colorism as if that's the reason. See, a lot of Black women feel like Black men who want to be with others, that when they go to other women, they do it because they're self-hating and you can't. Maybe, let's go ahead. Let's do this.
Women and their marriage prospects. Because Juliet, I think, lives in Seattle. Obviously, I live in California. And
all right. Okay, here we go. Okay. I'm not downplaying anything. I have dark-skinned clients. I have dark-skinned women in my group. How's your dark skin prohibited you from finding a husband?
In my case, I don't think so.
Okay, but I said finding a husband.
Oh.
When was the last time? How many times have you been engaged?
I've never been engaged.
Okay. When was the last time anybody ever seriously talked about marriage to you?
My last boyfriend.
How long were you guys together?
We were together for a year.
Right. And why did it end?
It ended just because he was moving and it just didn't.
Right. Like, just didn't work. You couldn't move with him, right? See, Erica?
Yeah.
See, notice one of the questions I had is, a lot of women, sisters today, will wear the extensions. And you hear brothers say, you can mimic what other women of other races look like as far as femininity, but you can even mimic the tonality of their voices. But why can't you mimic their attitude? And here's the thing. It comes down to say whether or not you really like Black men. You may want us, you may love them, but do you like Black men? And at the end of the day, colorism, what she wanted to talk about, has not stopped her. It's not her skin color. It's attitude. Attitude. Again, this woman has called into my show multiple times. I've been professional, cordial, but upon the third time I said, ma'am, you need to stop. Don't call my show anymore. You need to book your one-on-one session if you want any more advice from me. I'm not going to give you a session. You need to book. That was And she said, oh, I'm going to go ahead and book that. I'm going to go ahead and book my time. I don't care whether she booked or not. And here's the thing, ma'am, I don't want you to book anything. If you try to, I'll refund your money. I don't want you as a client. I don't want you as anything. Because there's a right and wrong way to do things. And when you say you want brothers who have to go out and compete and win in the world, and you can't even come at men the right way, it's almost like a lot of sisters want high value men, but you want them to accept you as you are, and you don't even like how you are. But let's get into it. How many black women truly believe that black men, especially bougie black men, really want white women and Latina women? I don't want to hear anything about athletes and entertainers because those people are not our world. But this is one of the, I've heard this. How often do brothers have to hear? Kanye, when you get on, he leave your ass for a white girl. Get down, girl. Go ahead, get down. There was a book written, Why Do Black Men Love White Women? And the reality is, reality is this: even with the people who do marry out, the vast majority of black men marry black women. She said, please don't highlight me. Don't at me. I'll time you out for doing that. Okay, I want to know why you think this. I want to know what it is about white women that you think black men leave black women for. We're going to open the call lineups early because so much of this stuff does not even line up with the reality. The woman that called in about colorism yesterday, she had relationship after relationship after relationship. Her father couldn't even get her. She was not relationship material. The other woman that called in, the one I just showed you, you can get a date, but you can't get a long-term relationship from a black man, a Hispanic man, from any man. What does that say? Some of you ladies are shooting outside of your looks league. And that's something you're going to have to resolve. Because over the last 3 months, I can count the women on one hand and have fingers left over that say they wanted a man who was making less than 6 figures. You all want men that can provide in the top 1% range. But all of them are been average, except for 2. You're out of your looks lane. And see, think about the women, the black women that get mad or get upset when they see a successful black man with a non-black woman. Are these women pretty, beautiful, or gorgeous? If not, you can't say anything, man. You're not in his league. The only way you should have anything to say about a man on that level is if you're pretty, beautiful, or gorgeous. Well, he don't have to pick me, but he could have picked a black woman. We're going to handle that one too. See, black men realize that we have to do what it takes to compete. We got to work 3 times as much to be or half as good. Why aren't you doing the same thing? Why are you were not raised by dad just like he wasn't raised by dad. You weren't raised to be married just like he wasn't raised to be a husband. What have you done to be prepared? But he's made himself high value. Have you made yourself wife? You may have a master's, a PhD, a career, or this or that, but have you made yourself what he made himself? Again, I want to hear from the women. Don't want to hear from the men today, because I want to hear from the women who have this fear that black men are, that they can't, you can't, all that first call yesterday, all the black women, Kevin, they all want Latinas and white women. Really? And then when it came right down to it, that's not the case at all. That's not the case at all. Can you qualify for Keith Henry?
Alright, YouTube, that is the end of the video. Basically him explaining the type of caliber of lady you need to be to get a certain caliber of man. And we have to understand that in life, there's only a certain caliber. It's only built that way because so many people cannot get into that level. There's levels to this shit. And most of us, the majority of us, are in a certain base level, and then we have tiers beyond that, and the tiers get smaller and smaller and smaller. The percentages get smaller and smaller and smaller because of what? Because of work we put in to get to those tiers. So, with that being said, he broke it down very well of what kind of caliber of lady is looking for these kind of men, and what kind of caliber of lady already has acquired or retained these kind of men. If you guys enjoy these videos, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out, y'all.